Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, February the 18th. Hey, we're going to be joined by Tom, Lee, Josh, and Gentry. Talk about fishing all over this wonderful state and all these bodies of water that they talk about every week, helping us put a few more fish in the boat. We'll be right back with what the guys have to say. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, February the 18th. Hey, we've caught up with Josh Herron. We're going to talk Logan Martin and Lay Lake fishing. Josh, what's happening? I know weather's been kind of changed and giving us a little funky curveball, probably a little bit muddy again, but what's going on at Logan Martin and Lay?
It's about the same, man. You still got a bunch of bait blown up in his pockets. You can run around, you can chase them on live scope if you want to, but it's still really tough. Fishing definitely hadn't come around.
Yeah.
Last weekend, I spent a bunch of time up there, and man, it's a grind. Um, it's definitely very out of context a grind. So I keep waiting for these fish to kind of start making a move, but Mother Nature keeps putting a big stop sign up on that. So right now, your best bet is to run around. Use a live scope if you got it. You chase a bunch of schools of fish that are still on bait. Spy baits, scroungers, little Demiki rigs, stuff like that. As far as lay lake goes, jerk bait still catching some fish. Same deal down there. You still got a bunch of fish on bait.
Are we wanting to start to look in the flatter kind of things, looking towards the spawning coves? Or are we still talking bluff ends and maybe some steeper banks? What are we looking at?
Man, right now most of the fish I'm finding are in the mousy spawning pockets. It's like they know it's coming, but and every time
Yeah.
we get a little bit of warm weather like we had this week, they'll kind of pull up, but they keep getting chased off by these cold nights.
I know I've been hearing of some guys that are flipping some fish, upriver around some of the hard stuff up there. Have you heard anything about that kind of stuff? Maybe pitching a jig?
I'm sure they are. I haven't spent much time up there. I've spent most of my days on the lower end of these lakes, just with the current and the mud, just trying to get out of some of it. So yeah, I mean, bluff ends are still going to be a deal. Rock, anything that's going to hold heat through the night. So in any of these little eddy seams that are coming off the bottom of the ends, these bluff ends, I mean, they're shelter for shad and for bass.
Yeah, it seems like some of the shallower pockets that the current starts to spread out a little bit. Those are going to be the fastest ones to warm up. So that's what you're focusing on, is that kind of stuff right now?
Yeah, anything that's got kind of a northern facing orientation.
Yep, that gets the most sun on the west side of the lake. Hey, Josh, man, as always, we appreciate everything, and we will talk to you again soon.
Thanks, buddy.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, February 18th. We're joined by the crappie king of Weiss Lake, Lee Pitts, but we're going to start with Neely Henry. What's happening up there?
It's muddy. Still got a lot of mud coming down through Neely right now. Mother Nature just keeps throwing us curveballs. It's one of those deals where about the time it gets situated and we get back on a normal pattern, here we go again. So it's a lot of, we've had some winds here later in the week, cold weather again, which, we're kind of used to that. But with all the water that we've had coming through, it's staying the lake up. Things are muddy. Fish really don't know what to do. Water temperature's not really dropped that much. It's just with this, the change of weather, every day's a different day. It's just got things kind of scattered right now. Not saying that you can't catch anything. It's just you got to knock around and jump around and let that mercury eat a little bit till you find a place where you can find some fish that want to try to eat a little bit.
I hear you there. All right, let's talk to Weiss Lake. I know you're up there. The crappie bite, that's got to be struggling just a little bit, right?
You were very generous when you said struggling a little bit. Thank you. It's it's struggling a lot right now. I don't know what it is. It's this time of year. Crappie aren't where they're supposed to be. A lot of them are still sitting out there in that river. We got a lot of current in the river, so it's hard to fish there. But even in our bays and pockets, it's a day to day deal. You'll roll in one day if you got a little bit of sunshine, you can protected from that wind, and you can get bits, you can catch some fish, but the next day you got cloud cover, high winds, and that stain coming in. It just, you wake up every day's a new day. So hopefully we got brighter days ahead coming this next week. We'll just get through this, hopefully the last kind of struggling weekend, but you're not going to catch them sitting at home. So might as well get out there and see what you can do and just bear with it and get with it. That's all I can tell you.
So with Weiss Lake being a shallow lake, primarily when it comes to the bass fishing, it's best to do that when it's muddy, right? Square bill, spinner baits, bladed jigs, stuff like that in the pockets.
Yeah, and I think that's where most of the fish are trying to get to right now. They're coming in off the bass end of it. They're coming in off that river. I'm looking at this morning. I've got 56 degrees in a pocket back here up the river. So the temperature is where it needs to be. I think it's just looking for those places that the bass have already started migrating back in here, getting in the shallows. They're trying to get there, even though the water's still a little low right now. They're getting up there on the bank, getting in those hard spots around some wood cover, and just like you said, square bill, spinner bait, just something you can kind of aggravate them a little bit and put it in front of their face and hope they'll eat it.
Well, Lee, as always, brother, we appreciate the expertise and the advice, and we'll talk to you again next week, man. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, February 18th. Time for us to join up with our good friend Tom Ott up at Guntersville. That mountain lake at the Toyota Series is in town, and we had a weather delay. How's it going right now?
Well, I tell you, just talking to some of the anglers that are fishing out there, it was real easy to catch fish leading up to the cancellation day. So, I had been out there quite a bit. It'd been tough. Then we got some nice warming trends that came in. The fish were really biting well. Then the cancellation. Now we've got real cold front conditions. And I think folks that fish Guntersville, some know that those Florida strain bass really take a dislike to a severe cold front. So I'll be honest with you. I think there's going to be some good fish caught. I don't think the weights are going to be huge, in that 18-pound range. And I'm sure somebody will have to catch 20. I mean, I have to imagine. But, wow, it's really the water came up probably a foot to 2 feet. It's just going to be it's going to be a struggle. I mean, these guys that found something a little out of the way, something, I don't know, maybe a marina, some dock flipping, something odd on Guntersville. I think probably going to take this tournament, but Mother Nature just has a way of throwing these slings into us that kind of cause us some problems on that lake. But I'm sure there'll be a lot of fish caught, but it's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of sad stories coming out of today, I'm sure.
Yeah, anytime you find something good and then Mother Nature stops you, kind of shuts you down, yeah, that'll have an effect. All right, let's talk crappie, because I know there's an awful lot of people out there that are wanting to go do the crappie deal. That's got to be going pretty good right now, right?
Oh, the crappie are doing their thing right now, Dano. They're moving up into those grass lines like we like to see them. We're seeing some really big fish, too. I mean, it's nothing to go out there and catch, a fish approaching 2 pounds on a rattle trap. And when you get a crappie that's choking a half-ounce rattle trap, you're on something special right there. So, it's the time definitely to be out there. And this is going to carry on all through the warm months. So we'll have up until May. I think these fish are going to stay in a reasonable, in a good shallow kind of areas that you can catch them. Be real easy to catch them. You just got to find them. And I think if you're utilizing some forward-looking sonar, that's the easiest way to find your crappie. But brush piles, shallower brush piles, things like that are definitely playing a key right now. Your causeways are chocked up with bait. Tons of bass, tons of crappie are all over that. So that's a great place to start. But if you want to catch those big trophy crappie, I think you're going to need to move back into the areas, the grass lines in that 6, 8, 10 foot of water and look for them, start moving in to spawn.
Well, brother, we appreciate everything. Thanks for the time, and we'll talk to you again next week. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, February the 18th. We're joined with Gentry Gordy, our resident angler from the south part of the state, talking about Lake Martin and Jordan Lake. Hey, what's going on at Jordan Lake these days again, Gentry?
I haven't been up there, Dan. Been kind of getting ready for the first ABT on Lake Martin, but I talked to some friends of mine up there. A good friend of mine actually he had a good bag up there last weekend. I think he had 17 pounds, and it's the junk fishing, running around with a fly. And I think he caught one think the biggest one actually come on a spinner bait. But the water's being dirty up there. It's not clearing up with all this rain. The grass bite, I think, is still, I don't know if you can catch a big limit, but you can always catch a big fish flipping the mats up there when that grass, the brown grass is dead and matted up. But mainly it's more along the lines of just running down the bank, flipping a dock, throwing a crankbait bite, hitting it with a chatterbait, anything to get a reaction bite in that dirty water.
Yeah, the dirty water, a little bit more vibration, a little bit brighter colors, maybe even redder colors might be good there. Is it mainly a reaction bite, or are you having to kind of hunker down and maybe flip some hard stuff too?
No, you can really get a decent bag, strictly on a reaction bite, your red square bills and your little bit brighter chartreuse and white chatterbaits and stuff like that. But, for me, get a decent bag early and then, slow down and look for a big bite.
Gotcha. All right, let's turn our attention to Lake Martin. I know you've been spending a bunch of time down there getting ready for your ABT event, and your boat's being put together right now too, as I understand it. But let's talk about Lake Martin a little bit. Tell us what you're comfortable sharing.
Oh, Lake Martin's wide open, Dano. It's actually, I was up there Monday and noticed that the dirty water has made its way all the way down mid lake. You don't see that very often. Now, I'm not muddy by no means, but for Lake Martin, it's got a stain to it, all the way down towards Blue Creek. So that's what I have focused on. I've tried to stay out of the clear water. I've tried to, that dirtier water will heat up a little bit faster with this weather we got coming. I think there's going to be a big push of fish moving shallow. It could make that tournament real interesting. Moving baits are being hit pretty decent up there, and a lot of the same, you get to a dock, pick it apart, then pick up a moving bait, go to the next one, or they're still on the rock piles. I just can't find the big fish on the rock.
Well, Gentry, as always, man, we appreciate it. Good luck at your tournament. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that'll do it for our Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, February the 18th. Thanks to the guys for sharing some information. Hopefully it'll help you put a few more fish in your boat. Don't forget, we are back on full season hours Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Parts, sales, service, and the loft are all available to help you get on the water, stay on the water, and catch a few more fish. Stop on by Bucks Island. We appreciate seeing you because you are the best part of Bucks Island. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again next week.